A good Erev Shabbos, a good Friday. Hope you are doing well. Unfortunately, we have to address another tragedy. This is not pleasant. This is difficult. We've been going through a very challenging period of time, and now with this tragedy north of Miami and Surfside, it's again something we are struggling with. Obviously, it is a time to turn to the Almighty, that those who are under the rubble they should be found safe, and we should hear good news, a refuah shalema to those who know it. But I would like to share some feelings on the matter. Now, the first thing that came to mind when I heard about it was a prayer, a short prayer made by the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, as he would leave the Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies, on Yom Kippurim. And we are told there was a short prayer he would say. It is part of our Yom HaKippurim service. And he would turn to the Almighty and he would say the following: Al Anshei HaSharon, Almighty, regarding the inhabitants of the Sharon region, Yehi ratzon milfanecha, may it be the will before you, Shelo ye'asu vatehem kivrehem, that their homes should not turn into their graves. And for me, it's an indication that if the high priest, on that very significant moment, prays for the welfare of people, that for whatever reason in that region, houses would collapse, and he made it his business to turn to the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the Almighty, in prayer at a very significant time, at a very significant location, it seems to be very tragic. And it's one that, when we hear of such an event, it has to awaken us and approach it in a Jewish way. So, a few brief suggestions how to address it is: number one, let's not try to be God. Let's not try to explain why these things are happening. If we would have prophets, perhaps they would give us some clarity. Without prophets, we have to accept that there are tragedies that we live with, and we live with question marks. We are able to do some impressive things with question marks, the Jewish nation. But that's life. Number two, let's focus on what's needed and on the pain and the loss of those who are going through it. And it's not yet the time to focus on the happy stories. And what I mean by that is that we should not be forwarding messages about someone who is grateful to the Almighty that he wasn't there at that moment. That person has the right to be grateful, but it's not something that Klal Yisrael as a whole should be addressing. Right now, let's focus on the needs of those who are either trapped, those who need a refuah, and unfortunately those that need a nachama, some comfort. A tremendous amount of kindness is being done in South Florida. The shuls are overwhelmed with people wanting to give, because we are a nation that gives. We could give physically, we could give spiritually, by becoming better, right? By thinking about how to treat our fellow Jew, or what comes out of our mouth regarding our fellow Jew. These are good things we could do during this tragedy. And the last thought is the fact that this brief prayer of the Kohen Gadol as he was leaving the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippurim, we are told that he was supposed to keep it short, Shelo lehavit et Israel, not to scare the people of Israel. In other words, if the Kohen Gadol would take too much time in his prayer and not make his way out from the Holy of Holies, the nation would panic. Perhaps he did not survive the experience. So, to be considerate, he did not stand in prayer for long. He reappeared to calm everyone, because he didn't want to scare the people of Israel. That's an important message as well. Let's not try to scare ourselves or others. Yes, it's tragic. And yes, we're going to do our part to become better, and acts of kindness are being done. But we still have to have the ability to not scare ourselves, to be optimistic that better days are ahead, Be'ezrat Hashem. We're going to give comfort to those who need it. We're going to daven for those who need it. We're going to do our part. But in general, we have to keep a positive spirit. The only way to do it, obviously, is with an understanding. Things do not occur randomly. There's a higher being who's running the world. He knows what he's doing. We live with question marks, but at the same time, we have clarity that there's a reason. May it be that we only communicate regarding happy things and good things. For now, please, let's all do our part. Shabbat Shalom, and indeed we should hear good news. Thank you. Bye-bye.